And of course, holiday shopping means holiday garbage. We're doing all the packaging, the wrapping, the leftovers. Household waste can increase by as much as 25%. So what can we do about all that waste? Well, here to tell us is Sunil Garg. He is the Executive Director of the Union County Utilities Authority. And you have an interesting theory. I've been reading about it, Mr. Garg. The more trash we produce, the better for the environment?
Well, yes. I mean, trash is ubiquitous in our society. It's going to be produced, particularly in a consumption-based society. So what we do with this trash, Mr. Scarborough, is that we actually make electricity from it. Good, clean, renewable, baseload electricity.
How do you do that?
We basically use garbage as a fuel. It's a very rich fuel. It has the value of almost per ton, almost a quarter ton of coal. And then we use that to generate steam. And from the steam, we drive a turbine, very much like in any other power plant.
And make electricity from
And make electricity from it, yes.
So now, when you're talking about waste, you're talking about food scraps? You're talking about typical household waste?
Yes, absolutely.
You collect it? And how do you prepare it to burn it?
We do not. In our plant, we have a plant that is called a mass burn plant, in which case we really have to do no pre-processing of it. So we receive really post-recycled plant waste at our plant. Actually, it's garbage at that point, because what we like to say, it's really not waste if it is energy. So we use it as a fuel, and it's not prepared in any way at all. It just comes in straight in. If you came to the plant, you will see just bags of garbage that go straight into our boiler system.
So if we really got down to it, I mean, really we're slobs and generated tons and tons of waste, we could solve our energy problem. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, absolutely. And I think it's a very, very simple math here, is that a family of three produces roughly 2 tons of garbage a year. And 2 tons of garbage is sufficient to produce enough electricity through our process to power maybe 6 weeks to 2 months worth of a family's needs of electricity.
Really?
It's a huge resource that we ought to be utilizing much more than we are at the present time.
How does it compete economically with coal or natural gas or nuclear?
It's slightly more expensive, but that's because we are actually doing a twofer here. We are collecting garbage, which is something we have to do anyway. We are disposing of that garbage in a very permanent way rather than putting it into a landfill, and we are creating electricity from it. On a capital cost basis, it's actually fairly consistent today. But it's the only source of electricity today in the United States that has absolutely no subsidy attached to it whatsoever. We get not a penny's worth of subsidy from the federal or state government to generate electricity.
What sort of emissions do you generate burning garbage?
We have actually very, very low levels of emissions.
Really?
Very low levels. We are better than virtually any coal or oil-fired plant. About 2/3 of the investment in our plant is on pollution control. And we emit like 5 to 20%, 1/20th to 1/5 of the total amount of emissions we are even allowed to emit under current EPA very stringent regulations.
I read you claim that these plants are actually greenhouse gas reducers. They actually reduce greenhouse gas. How does that happen?
In the following way, that if you put the garbage in a landfill, 1 ton of garbage in a landfill will generate about a ton of carbon dioxide. If you take the same ton of garbage and burn it, it generates 0.4 tons of carbon dioxide. And then when you account for the fact that we are replacing fossil fuel to produce electricity and take the credit for that, you're actually 1 ton negative on carbon dioxide through the whole train, in essence.
So why don't we have more of these plants? This sounds like a real win-win to me.
Well, it is a win-win, and that's what we're here to tell you. I think that we hope that the message will get out. Given that this is a holiday time, I like to say that this is probably one of the greatest stories never told.
Okay, well, it's told now. Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming in. Tonight, Jewish families are celebrating.